Okay, how I met Albert. It was in 2014, and my last husband, my previous husband, was very ill, and I needed help, and the hospital suggested an agency that then the guy brought out Albert. So he said that he was recently from Ghana, and that he came over on a student visa, and he was going to try to get his RN degree here. And he was a very, very good caretaker. He seemed to really know what to do. Over there in the village, he functioned as a doctor because they didn't have any doctors for 50 miles away. And he asked me if he could call me Grandma, and I said, sure, what's one more? He said, Grandma, my dream has been to build a medical center, a hospital in my village, because they don't have any doctors for 4 hours away. And he said, can you help me with that? And I said, well, I don't have any money, but I could get you invitations to speak at different groups that I know about, and you could get donations. So anyway, after my husband passed and Albert was with me through the whole thing, he was so good. We had planned to take him up to Northern California where we lived, but he got too sick. So I told Albert, well, you were going to go with me to take Lee up to Northern California, but we can't do that now. But I've got to go up there and pack and move down here to my daughter's. So I said, if you want to go with me and help me, I'll pay you some, but I can't pay you the caretaking fees. He said, well, that's all right, Grandma. It's not about the money. I want to help you. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to get a caretaking job for him close by, because he was almost like part of the family then. So I thought, I'll think about it and see if I can figure out someone that might need one. And I was at the tire shop getting a new tire, got to talking to a lady there, and she knew my daughter and went to her church. I said, do you happen to know anyone that could use a really good caretaker? And she said, well, I might. 2 days later, these people in Palos Verdes called and said they needed a caretaker. And they said, well, what does he charge? And I said, I don't know, but he's worth his weight in gold. I can tell you that for sure. So they said, can you get him up here for an interview? And so I called him, and he said, yeah, he'd be right up. And I took him up there, and they said, please stay because you might be able to add something to it. By the time we left, I was pretty sure he had the job. He really cooled it. And so on his way home, he called me, he said, Grandma, they call me and they're hiring me. And I said, well, good for you. I was pretty sure you got it. So then he took care of the little lady who had Alzheimer's, and then she passed, and then he took care of the old man. And the old man said Albert was just like a son to him because he didn't have any kids. So after the man passed, Albert found out that he had willed a lot of his money to Albert. So he had already started working on his healthcare center then, and he was able to complete it with this money that he had inherited. And also he had already started a caretaking business while he lived there. So he started it in San Pedro, then he moved it to Beverly Hills, and he says over and over, I owe it all to you, Grandma. So I said, well, you did a lot of it yourself. You helped yourself too, but that's good, you know. He's doing really, really well now, but he really cares about people. That's what I like about him.